Hello everyone and welcome back. We are back with an energy update for the weekend or for whenever you're finding it if it resonates. So, quick reminder before we start about the crystal competition. Now, I have extended the competition because I realised the end date was probably a little bit soon. It barely gave you guys a week to enter. So you can win this bag of crystals if you can guess what crystal is wrapped up in here that I bought from Lavender Moon recently. Now, for clarity, the competition is not associated with Lavender Moon. I bought this, they're not sponsoring it or anything. It's just a small business that I like to support in pool. So if you can guess what this crystal is, oops, please put a comment down below with what your guess is. And the competition is open worldwide, anywhere I can reasonably post to. If I can't post to you, I can't get you your prize. And you can win this bag of crystals, including the bag. Okay, and if more than one person guesses correctly, then I will draw the winner's name out of the hat, and I'll try and make sure that the runners-up get some prizes as well, because that's nice. So, and if you've entered in any other places, like on my Instagram or under any other videos where I've talked about it, or any of the other crystal posts, don't worry, I will still see it because YouTube's very clever. I have access to something called YouTube Studio where I can see everybody's comments. So I will be able to see all of your entries, so don't worry, you don't need to enter twice. And please don't enter twice because you're not allowed to do that. It's cheating. Okay, you can only have one guess per person. All right. Okay. Those down there. Let's get on with the energy update for today. Let's see what's going on because some interesting energy. I've just got some new sensor shells which I just introduced on another video over on Cosmic Dragon, which I've actually got in water here because they're covered in sand. I've got to clean them off a bit. You can see the sand there in the middle of that shell. They need cleaning off, and then I have to throw the water outside because I can't possibly put that down my drain because something terrible might happen. So, don't put sand down drains. That's not a good idea. Might take you back to the beach. Okay, and as I do live near the beach, that's not too hard to do. So let's see what's going on at the moment. I've had this weird thing recently where every time I pick up a pack of cards, I feel like I need to use it and work with it, like compulsively. It's like every pack of cards I pick up wants to work with me. Like when I'm just trying to tidy up in my room and move things around. You guys know I have a lot of cards. That's some of them over there. And it's like when I try and tidy them, I try and move them around, they all are like, pick a card, do a reading, read with me. They're all whispering to me, so I don't know if they're all trying to tell me at the moment that I should do more readings, because I know I haven't been doing that many. But I think there is a nudge here for me to work with them more. And maybe that's a nudge that you're getting as well, a nudge, you know, it doesn't have to be with tarot cards or oracle cards. I have all kinds of cards because I love playing with them. I also have runes, and I am also a psychic, you know, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, all that nonsense, and a medium. So I don't necessarily need to use cards at all to get messages. It's just a nice medium to use. It's just a tool. And it does kind of make your life a bit easier as well. So it's not just me talking, you have something pretty to look at. So there's definitely a nudge there for us to tune in more with our spiritual abilities, with our psychic abilities, to lean more into that, I think, as we move into the new energy, into the new age. It's very, very interesting to me that that nudge is coming through at the moment. So, yeah, some water coming into my radiator. Can you hear that? That radiator doesn't normally make noise. How bizarre. Huh. Well, there are pipes in here, but it doesn't normally make a lot of noise. The heating is on, but that radiator is not working particularly well at the moment. It needs bleeding, and the thermostatic valve has fallen off, and it's just a little bit squiffy. How strange. Running water. Well, water represents emotion, so let's see where we're going with this, because I was having trouble... Oh dear, sorry. I was having trouble speaking earlier today. If you saw my video over on Cosmic Dragon, where I was talking about the new sensor shells and the competition, just a quick update, I was stumbling and stuttering over all my words. And when that happens, that's usually the throat chakra being out of alignment, so isn't that interesting? And I did have a cup of tea in here somewhere as well. I don't know where I put that. I'm going to have to find that. Goodness, it's so messy in here, but I do have some new shelves coming in, which Mr. Moderator has put together for me from IKEA. Oh, there it is on the windowsill, where Bedford normally is. And so I will have a lovely new setting set up in here. It's going to be so much more tidy. I'm very much looking forward to that. Although my desk is probably going to look very much the same, but less mess and more calm. More calm. There we go. Lovely stuff. So Bedford's here with us in spirit. He is actually asleep on my bed at the moment, wrapped up in a nest made of my covers. So this weekend, 5-minute mark. I will put a timestamp in because you guys know I love to chat with you. Okay. Not everyone wants to listen to me chat. 8 of Cups. Interesting. What are we moving on from? Ace of Wands. Oh, clear quartz. New beginning. Hanged Man. Ah. Understanding higher spiritual truth, seeing things in a new and different way. Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning, but you know, when I pulled it out, before I could see the name of it, because I don't know this deck very well, I haven't had it very long, it was gifted to me quite recently, thank you Ginger. This is the Crystal Magic Tarot. I love working with it, it's a really nice deck, lovely energy. As I was getting it out, I thought it was the Ace of Swords, and I thought, oh, clarity. So clearly the message of clarity is coming through here as well, because that message came through as I was pulling the card. And as they say, God doesn't make mistakes, neither does the goddess. So if they give you a message, listen. Interesting. It's like when I'm doing numerology, I was taught if you make a mistake in your adding up or in your numbers, it's not a mistake, it's just a message, so roll with it and interpret accordingly. Interesting. So we're reaching higher levels of spiritual understanding. Interesting that the Hanged Man in this deck is a lady, a hanged lady, and she is being held by a snake, and we've just moved into the year of the snake, like in the last couple of days. We are now in the year of the snake, new lunar year, Chinese New Year, and other countries, of course, who observe that. So very interesting, this card, because this card has the energy of the death card coming through a little bit here with these skulls as well. For me, it's ancestral wisdom being taught to us. And it's not the easiest teacher either, although the snake is only holding her loosely. So she is quite gently, she almost looks like she's doing a shoulder stand of some kind, you know, like in yoga where you kind of have your legs up against the wall. Oh, hello, candle. The candle liked that. Did you see that? Did you see the candle just go a bit crazy then? Now, there's no drafts in here and my window's closed. There goes the candle again. The candle has something to say about that. Yeah, the energy of the death card is here, which is interesting because death card is the one that comes after this, and that's number 13. So I'm going to bring that energy in here, which is about new beginnings and leaving things behind, because something has to die so that something can be born anew, and that's of the self, obviously. Empty your bowl of yesterday's rice. You can't put the new food in yesterday's dirty crockery, okay? You'll get sick. It just won't taste very nice. It will not help. It will take you backwards rather than forwards. Now, these kind of look like plant pots, but they remind me of hourglass, you know, like the sand timers, the hourglass. That's what it looks like to me. Then we've got the imagery of the moon up here as well. So it's all about time and cycles, and the imagery of the sun, time, cycles, life and death, and shedding of the skin. That's been a very strong subject coming out recently in some of the people that I follow on YouTube, like Chrissy Sawyer. If you follow her over at Zeta Refuki, the shedding of the skin, it's happening at the moment. I just need to count these markings on the snake. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15. 15. Oh, interesting. Okay, 15 is the devil. Yeah, it's understanding that which holds us back. Oh, there's a 16, so we could say there's a tower there perhaps as well. Sorry, my numerology brain just sees patterns and numbers and things and shapes, so sometimes I just have to go with it. Yes, we are looking at that which has held us back, that which we think we can't escape from. And look, she's looking at the 3D world, because look, she's got 1 green stone and 1 red stone. And what do your glasses look like when you go and see a 3D movie? And I don't mean the new ones. I'm not talking about the IMAX, the old 3D movies. You'd have the glasses that had the green filter on one eye and the red filter on the other. She's wearing 3D glasses. They're crystals, so they're higher knowledge and wisdom and understanding, but she's definitely looking at the 3D world. Isn't that clever? Love what they've done there. So clever, looking at things in a different way through 3D glasses. That's so cheeky. I love it. Understanding that the 3D world isn't real, because you take those away and you'll see life for what it truly is. If you can take away the illusions of the 3D, of the realm that we live in, the simulation, the 3D video game that we currently live in. The reminder that nothing is permanent and everything is constantly changing. And is the big snake being held by a rope or by a little snake? Because I'm trying to work it out. What's happening here? Is that a rope? because it almost looked like a little snake holding the big snake. And how could he possibly be strong enough to do that? And then being held by a giant hand. So it's almost like the different aspects of self. So the lower self, the higher self, the soul, and then God at the top holding everything together. And realizing that none of it's important, none of it's real. There is beauty and balance in everything. Fascinating. Fascinating card. There's a lot of wisdom with that card as well, because it's that beautiful purple hues coming through there. And the indigo of the third eye. The intuition. So we have the Ace of Wands. So passionate new beginning. We want this new beginning. But the new beginning is going to only happen if we're able to see the world for what it truly is, and not fall back into old beliefs, old patterns, old ways of doing things. So we can still, how do I put this? I have the message so clearly, it's just a case of putting it into human words now. So you can still follow your path as a human being. You can still do the things that we do in this 3D realm. You can still get the new job, have the new relationship, buy the house, go on the holiday. Oh, I just saw 11/11 as I said that. I love that. But you'll see it for what it truly is now. It's like we are starting to see things for what they truly are. We have these new ideas, but we don't come to them because of the old 3D thinking. We've transcended that. We've left that behind at the Eight of Cups. We've walked beyond that, beyond thinking everything's black and white with the moon and the sun there. We understand that everything has the sun, everything has the moon, everything will die at some point. Time is not real. That we are held by this thread in this reality. The divine holds us by this thread. And we kind of dangle here, which is why we kind of feel a little bit helpless sometimes in this reality, because you feel like you're dangling, like I'm not in control of anything, what's happening? And then we realise that actually we're just looking through these 3D crystals and none of it's actually real. So leaving behind things that we may have loved, that we may have enjoyed, that may have been a big part of our life, but understanding that you must empty your bowl of yesterday's rice. So what is that she's holding? I know what it looks like, but don't think I can say it on YouTube, and I don't think that's what it is. Don't be rude, Helen. Right. Poodle, if you're watching, I know you're thinking it. I can't say what it looks like, but I'm sure it's not. That's just my mind. I don't know what it is. I might have to look it up in the book later. I love these lovely pink colours there with the rhodochrosite. It's absolutely gorgeous. So looking back at our past with love, looking back at the things we've achieved, looking back at the bowls, all of the bowls that we've accumulated, all of the things that we've done in our life, our experiences, the things we thought we were doing for the right reasons. Oh yeah, I've got to get this really good job and then I'll earn loads of money and this will happen and my life will be great. And we realised that wasn't how it worked at all. Not least because financially things are getting more difficult in many ways for many people, and lots of things are changing. The things that we were taught were the rules that would make us successful in life have turned out not to be the case for many of us, especially the younger generations. The rules are changing. They don't know what the rules are anymore. I heard a statistic earlier today that 75% of property is owned by people aged over 45. That's quite telling. That's interesting, demographically speaking. So it is getting harder. I mean, I'm not on the housing ladder and I'm actually 46. Never been able to get on it. It was that first rung was just too high. So things are changing, reality is changing, and we have this magic wand in hand now to actually bring and implement huge change in our life, as long as we can understand that we don't have to follow the rules of the game as we were taught them. Okay, the rules of the game do not apply. The rules of the game are a trick, a trap. Okay, we must follow our intuition. We must do things differently, calmly, without reacting, without believing that everything is black and white. So it feels kind of almost like all bets are off right now, but it's okay because we have a magic wand and we have the vision to actually get us through. But there's definitely a sense of leaving things behind now. And it is 1st of February today, so it is Imbolc as I am filming this. So I will bring out some messages to do with that as well. Interesting. What else have we got for today? 9 of coins. Oh, 6 of coins. Interesting. Do you know what this feels like? It feels like very much finding a way to enrich ourselves, which doesn't necessarily have to mean money, but it is concrete because it's the suit of coins, suit of pentacles, which is earth. So it's very earthly, real world 3D things. Finding ways to be successful and abundant, but in ways that allow us to share with others. Because the Six of Coins is about equal give and take, about sharing, about supporting each other financially. And look, this little boy, he's got the little food bucket here for all of these different animals. He's going to feed these animals. He's presumably cleaning up after them, which is probably why he has the mask on, because we all know that doesn't smell good. So he's showing kindness. He's got gloves on. I don't blame him. I would too if I was picking up like cat turds. And then there's this bird that always reminds me of a kookaburra. I don't know what bird it's supposed to be at some point. I will have to look it up in the book, but it looks like a kookaburra to me, which is actually a fishing bird. It's like a kingfisher, but a massive one. So we have the energy of fish and water and flight and the animals of earth here as well. We have the predator and the prey. But it's almost like the people who are successful helping each other, as well as everybody else, as well as the people who are less successful. There's a real sense of genuinely wanting to help, but not being forced to help each other. It comes naturally now. It comes naturally. It does not require others to tell us we have to do it or to steal from us and give to other people, because that's not helpful. That's not how you create a cohesive society, by stealing from one person and giving it to somebody else with this kind of mythical Robin Hood nonsense. It just doesn't work, and it will not work in the new golden age. The Age of Aquarius will not allow that. Aquarius is way too much of a renegade to allow others to control them and to say, oh yeah, you have to give me this money and I'm going to call it tax, and if you don't give it to me, I'll put you in a cage. Aquarius will tell you to F off. They'll be like, you're going to do what now? I don't think so. I've got some big ideas that I'm going to do over here, and I'm going to help people in my own way. Thank you very much. And rightly so. So success, fulfillment, but I do see abundance coming through. Abundance, new abundance that we thought wasn't possible previously, and letting go of old beliefs that held us back. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm just going to explain on the card here, because look what they've done with the coins, or the pentacles, as you wish to call them. There's 5 here and 4 there. So to me, that's evocative of the 5 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. So it brings the energy of those 2 cards in here as well. So for me, numerologically, it also brings in the energy of 45-9. 4-5-9. Okay. So 45 mine. I said mine. Oh, I love how my guides work. Okay, so we have the word mine coming in here. So it could literally be about mining. So there's a connection to Bitcoin here and to crypto for some people, which is mined. There could be something to do with precious metals as well here as well. Maybe there is a whole new financial system that we'll be entering into shortly. Maybe gold and silver or crypto will be more important. We know that the governments want to move towards central bank digital currencies, which I am personally opposed to. However, the ones that... There are other cryptos which are much safer, that cannot be controlled and would allow a free market, but that's a whole other conversation, very big. We don't have time for that today. I have actually talked about it before, though, on this channel. If you look back, Crypto and the Age of Aquarius, that's an interview that I did with a very interesting chap, very, very interesting. I'll try and remember to put a link to that video above. Editor Helen, please put the link there so you can go back and watch that one. That was brilliant. Really loved that interview. It was fascinating. So 9 of Coins, Budstone. I don't even know what Budstone is, but there's so much green on here. I don't know what Budstone would look like. I shall have to look that one up. But doesn't it sound like flowers and plants and something ready to open? Because the bud of a flower is ready to open and reveal its beautiful petals, but it's still in its baby phase. It's still in its egg stage. So we're still in the egg stage here. We are creating the new, but we're still in the creating phase. We've got our magic wand. We've got our recipe of what we're going to do. We know it's going to work. We're leaving behind those old thoughts of lack, being left out, and having to be selfish and cling to things. We're leaving those behind now. We're evolving and becoming more aware of how the universe actually works, so that we can genuinely have give and take with others. Quite sort of quantum, these messages coming through, quite high level. 6 of Cups, yeah. So I think it's normal right now that we're going to be thinking about things from our past. The 6 of Cups is very often a card of nostalgia, thinking about childhood, thinking about fond memories from the past, people that maybe no longer in our lives, perhaps. Pink opal, very soft energy coming through there, very beautiful. And this sort of fairy figure here as well. It's almost childlike wonder. Connection to the etheric realms, the fairy realms in particular, of all of the etheric beings, what they call the elementals. There we go, connection to the elemental realms here. So the fairy is coming through quite strongly with the Six of Cups, but to remind us that everything we've been through has purpose. So we could be, you know, we could be in counselling at the moment, or we could be pondering, contemplating things from our past, from our childhood, how they shaped us, and how maybe we got some things wrong. Not through any fault of ours necessarily, but because we learned things that were not correct. We were taught things that were not true. We were told things that were lies or were just hurtful. And so we internalized these beliefs that were not helpful. And we're letting go of all of that now. And it has been a journey, but this particular aspect of our journey is being highlighted for me right now, and for the collective, and for whoever's drawn to this video. And regardless of when you're finding it, it's still going to be relevant for you, because you may be finding this very much in the future. Oh, just a card just came flying out, and it just wanted to throw itself there. So there it goes. Two of Wands, One of Wands, the Eight of Wands becomes the Two of Wands, because that's how it wanted to come out, with Celestite coming in with some gorgeous moon energy there. I have some Celestite on my desk. I'm just looking at it. I won't get it because it's out of reach. So coming in with, oh wow, with the all-seeing eye. So we understand things now. We have, that's the next step. The all-seeing eye, understanding everything for what it truly is, and making a plan with the symbol of the triangle, which evokes the number 3. And this is a number 2 card, but we've got the energy of 3 coming in hot on its heels. All we have to do is make that choice. Choose what we want for our beginning. Pick our North Star and start heading to it, so that we can make our plans, make our blueprint, create our reality for the future. Because like I said at the beginning of the year, I felt like it was too early to actually be doing anything. New Year's resolutions this year just didn't feel right at all. And I've seen that echoed all across social media, with people saying, yeah, I'm not doing them this year, it's nonsense. There's never anything wrong with me in the first place, which is kind of funny. Obviously that's not true. There's nothing wrong with us as such, but we can always make improvements. We can always improve ourselves. But it really didn't feel like the year to make New Year's resolutions, because people are like, no, it's cold, it's miserable, we don't feel like we want to do that right now, we want to wait till spring. So intuitively people are waking up to what is actually true. Intuitively people are realizing that things that we're told to do and celebrate may not be at the right times in the year, where I nearly said the galaxy has been changed. That's interesting. I wonder where that came from. I was going to say the calendar has been changed, so our new year is now right in the middle of winter instead of at the beginning of spring, where it should be in April. Very interesting. Okay, so the galaxy has been changed. So something galactic changed and shifted when our calendar was changed. And my throat is really hurting as I'm saying that. So this feels like a truth that's long been hidden, that people may have tried to pass on to us, to tell us, and perhaps weren't able to. They were blocked for some reason, because my throat just hurt. It's still hurting a little bit. It's starting to subside as I say that. So hopefully I've got the message right as I've passed it along. Something to do with passion flowers here as well, as a connection to, you know, the blue passion flowers that we get in this country. They're not originally from this country, obviously, but I'm sure you guys know, wherever you are in the world, the blue passion flowers. And we sometimes get the passion fruit as well, but it doesn't really do very well in this country because it's just not the country for it. Okay, Two of Wands. We're starting to see the clarity. That's the next step. We see everything for what it truly is, and we can start to plan for the future. But there is a decision to be made. There are some big decisions in our lives that we must make before we can do that. And that is, it's like the next step of our journey is contingent on us making some big decisions. Okay, some choices. There is very much a fork in the road that's indicated by the Two of Wands here, how they're being held. There's a fork in the road. Our path could go 2 ways, possibly more than 2 ways for some people, but it could certainly go more than one. Very interesting. Real fork in the road energy in February this month of February that we're coming into, or whenever you're watching this. Fork in the road, pick, where is your North Star? Or are your 2 paths pointing in completely different directions? Are you picking another star to follow? Is it Sirius? You know, is it Zeta Ophiuchi? Which is actually the brightest star in the sky. It's just, or it would be if it wasn't in a huge dust cloud. So, what What else do we have? 3 of Cups. Party, enjoy yourself. Have a glass of wine. With garnet. 7 of Cups. Oh my, that's a terrifying card. That looks like Big Brother. Wow, from 1984. George Orwell. Okay. And the Emperor. Lapis lazuli. I don't even know what vanadinite is. I'm going to have to look that one up as well. But it sounds like wine. Vanadinite. Vin being wine in French. And all these glasses of wine. So this isn't the suit of cups. This is the suit of glasses of wine, apparently, at this point. Interesting. There could be an actual connection to wine. Red wine, wine glasses, something going on here. A celebration, perhaps. That's deep. I'm not sure if I should say that on YouTube. Just had a message coming through. Don't celebrate your victory too soon because it may not be what you think it is. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, that's kind of a collective message right there. All right. Choose carefully. I just can't get beyond this eye looking at me and getting the Big Brother vibes. I don't like it because I don't like the whole surveillance state thing either. And that's coming through very strongly with these cards, whether I like it or not. And when I try and go in a different direction, I just get stonewalled. So clearly I'm going to have to give the message that I'm getting because you guys know I don't support any particular political faction or party or side. I do not. And it feels to me almost like people are really celebrating what's coming in now with the political shifts and changes happening, but particularly in the States. But what's actually happening is greater levels of surveillance. While we were distracted drinking our wine, we weren't paying attention. We allowed greater levels of surveillance. And that's not to criticise one side over the other, okay? Because everyone's been blinded here by this big eye. Everyone's been blinded by the light that was shone at them. Making them fight amongst themselves, making them split into 2 factions with this one power at the top, which should not be there. And that's the choice we're being asked to make, the true choice, which is to lead ourselves, to rule ourselves, to become the emperor of our own life, individually and collectively, and to realise that we don't need kings, presidents, prime ministers, politicians, the political class, the ruling classes. We do not need them to rule us. We are lions. We just need to wake up and remember that. Okay. And there is this real triggering of the third eye happening right now with lapis. Very drawn to lapis as a stone. Is this piece? Look, that's lapis. Very drawn to lapis as a stone, lapis lazuli. If you have some, I suggest working with it, wearing it. That actually prompts me. I'm going to be wearing my bracelet later on today. Tap into your third eye because it's going to be guiding us in quite urgent ways moving forwards, I feel, so that we don't fall into a new version of slavery. And I mean, you could argue that we're already on a prison planet, a slave planet, blah, 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 however you want to see it. I prefer not to use that analogy because I think it's very negative and it can sound very hopeless. And I'm not a black pillar. I don't give pills. I'm not a drug dealer. So... Sorry. Yeah, the lion will awaken, the lion shall awaken, and the lion will lay down with the lamb. Because we're coming into Imbolc, which is about in milk, which is about the new lambs being born and the ewe's milk. That's what it coincides with, and it is about new beginnings, but very tentative new beginnings because the lambs are tiny at this stage, so they can't really do very much. They're barely ideas. They are born and they are tiny and weak. They can't do very much for themselves yet, but I feel like our inner lion will lie down with our inner lamb, and we will see much more social cohesion moving forwards after this month, but it's beginning this month. These are the plans that are being laid by spirit, by our spirit guides, by our higher selves. We are understanding that we have more in common than not, that we must work together, that we must cooperate and be kind to each other in the right ways, not in egotistical ways to say, oh, well, I'm going to do this thing to make myself look good on TikTok. It's not about that. And I just saw 29:29 on the clock, which just seemed to hang there for about 2 seconds. You know, that if this happens to you, sometimes I'll look at a clock and the time just seems to hang there for longer than a second. And it's almost like it's trying to prove a point. And it feels like time has stopped for a couple of seconds. I don't know if you get that, if it's just me. Just me? Okay. 29, 11, 2. And I nearly said 11, 1 for some reason, which I've been doing recently. 11, 1, which is 111, which is the new blueprint created by the individual, has been coming through a lot for me recently. I've been making that mistake in my numerology a lot, which tells me it's a strong message. If you imagine a triangle made of ones, so 1, 1, 1, that's what I keep seeing. It is a completely new blueprint from the higher self, the higher individual who knows that they are not truly alone and not separate, that we are all one. So, whew, getting pretty high level this reading. Very high level energy. I want to bring out some flowers. I'm looking for my cards. So there's the herbal astrology. Is that the one I wanted? Is that, because I've got 2 decks with flowers. Where was the one that, hang on, just having a discussion with my guides. They're trying to tell me whether, where did I leave that one? It's behind me. I don't see it. They're always right. It was behind me. They're always right. When I say to my guides, when I'm working with you guys on video here, because I'm quite tuned in when I'm doing that, and they say, where's that pack of cards? Because there's so many, there's some here, there's some there, there's some there, there's some there, there's some behind me, there's some over there, you know, there's some in my bedroom. They're just everywhere. And I have to ask my guides where I've put a particular deck, and they will tell me right every time. And they said, these ones are behind me, and they were. I wanted flowers. Flowers and plants and herbs and vegetables and fruit. So, Green Witch Oracle coming in. Being a bit witchy today. All right, let's get some messages for the collective, for everybody. Ooh, some big energy, big shifts this month, a lot happening. And you've probably noticed it as well. There's a lot of things that have been exiting our life, and that's kind of the 8 of Cups energy that we saw at the beginning, our first card there. We're leaving things behind, walking away from things that no longer serve, people, places, things, jobs, relationships, whatever these things are, habits, patterns, choices, locations, choices, old choices. So let's get some messages, let's get some guidance. Communication with the Peapod. I love it, on number 2. Wholeness with Black Mulberry on 33. This numerology, seriously. Desire, Cos Lettuce on 3. What is it that you desire? Ask for it and you shall be whole. I'm joking. Not quite that simple, but kind of is as well. Lots of green there as well. Very green, very fecund, very fertile. I want to talk about February going into March here as well. So this month and next month, whenever that is for you, whenever you're watching. And we're in the 33rd minute now of the video, and we've got 33 here, which is, when it's in balance, the Christ consciousness, which is the second coming of the Christ, which is actually nothing to do with a person showing up going, hi, I'm Jesus the second, and everything to do with us reaching higher levels of consciousness and understanding we are all one, and becoming ascended to a new and higher spiritual level. So, clarity on number 1. Oh, interesting. We're staying in the 1, 2, 3 energy. Look at this triangle. 1, 2, 3. And 30. Love. Lots of 3s. Lots of 3s. I said about new blueprints, didn't I? This is the month where we create the blueprint, where we look at things and decide what it is that we want. Love potion. And love has to be a part of it, because it always is. And 2 makes 3. That is kind of how it works, isn't it, in reproduction? But it is from our love for what we want that we create our desire, our passion, our fire. We don't normally create from misery. We normally create, I mean, you can create from necessity, but if you're feeling sad, you're not really going to create anything that just, I mean, you can, I suppose, but you know what I mean. 1, 2, 3. So there's a real progression here. We've got the energy of 33, the divine blueprint, leading the divine blueprint, which is spiritually guided, the spiritual guidance for us moving forwards. 30, the divine blueprint being led by unlimited potential, so we can actually have whatever we want. We can create from the void, create from nothing. Even if we thought we didn't have anything, we can still create from nothing. So it's creating from the void, but with our emotions, with our love, with our passion, with our desire, our clarity, feeling whole, knowing that we are able to do that, and communicating that which we want, communicating with others to cease disagreements, to stop people being polarized and falling into black and white thinking, and realizing that we are all one. And I'm very drawn to all the green here. It's very much a nature color, but it's also the color of the heart chakra, of course. The heart chakra being the physical center in the body that sits on the physical heart. That is, of course, our center of love and compassion for others, compassion, kindness. Okay. And it is a chakra that has its own wisdom. And there is interesting evidence to show that our heart actually has its own knowledge and wisdom as well, that it makes decisions, that it is, in a way, kind of like a brain, and it communicates with our brain. And so when we make decisions, the brain and the heart work together. Sometimes. I don't know if they always do, but they can. The heart certainly can influence the brain when it wants to make a decision. Isn't that interesting? If you look up the Institute of Heart Math, I think they've actually studied that scientifically, and I found that fascinating. So, lettuce, very fresh, lovely salads, peas, carrots, tomatoes, all delicious, nourishing food here coming through. No flowers, no herbs, just nourishing, simple foods. Maybe there's a nudge to eat nourishing, simple foods here as well. And the beautiful berries as well here, the beautiful sweet berries, bringing the dark energy of the dark mother goddess here. I want to talk about the darker faces of the goddess, but the crone energy, the wise old woman coming through with the black mulberry. Here we go around the mulberry bush. I don't know what I'm getting nursery rhymes coming through today, and I'm not sure what here we go around the mulberry bush actually means. Maybe it's one to look up the deeper meaning of that particular one. But I had another one in my head before I started this reading, and I can't remember what it was now. It's completely gone. So clearly I wasn't supposed to talk about it, because it would still be in my head if it was. But there's something about nursery rhymes and old knowledge and wisdom that was trying to be passed down through these different nursery rhymes, which may have been misinterpreted over the years. Yeah. Look for the old poetry. Look for the old wives' tales, shall we say, for the old wisdom. This is a resurgence of the old wisdom, which helps us to move forwards. It's almost like we're rediscovering something and going, wait a minute. My grandma told me that. I thought she was wrong because I thought it meant this. And I actually had kind of that moment myself yesterday. This might sound a bit weird, but bear with me. So I was watching a YouTube show, actually on TV, on the TV set, but on YouTube because I don't watch TV. TV sucks. I was watching YouTube and I was watching a talk by somebody who's an expert on money, and they were talking about, oh, do you remember, your grandmother told you, not mine because mine was dead, but you're always told as a child, save your money for a rainy day. And I thought, yes, I was told that. And the speaker said, and what's a rainy day? And people said, oh, when things go wrong and there are problems. And I went, what now? I realised I never knew that. I've heard this expression, save your money for a rainy day, over and over and over again, but I didn't know that's what a rainy day meant. And I suppose if I'd stopped and thought about it as an adult, I might have been able to come up with that, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what a rainy day was, because I heard that expression as a child, and what was a rainy day to me as a child? Okay, so I like to go outside and play. I like to run around in the garden. I like to ride my bicycle, go on my roller skates, play with my friends up and down the road, go to the Humpty Dumpty fields, swing on the rope swing over the river. Well, there's a little stream. And that's in Weymouth. And so for me, a rainy day was a day where I couldn't do any of those things. To me, a rainy day was incredibly boring, where I had to stay inside and I wasn't able to do anything. So on some level, when I heard that expression as a child, I internalized subconsciously that the meaning of a rainy day was a time when you had nothing else to do and you were bored. And that's not what it means at all. And I didn't know that until yesterday. I found that out yesterday. And you might think that's dim, but to be fair, nobody ever explained it to me, so why would I know? You know, there are lots of things we don't know. Why would you? No one ever told you. No one explained it to you. You were never presented with that information, and you never had any reason to research it, because why would you? I never needed to look up what a rainy day meant because it was not relevant to me, or so I thought. So save your money for a rainy day. I was like, well, what's the point in that? What the hell's a rainy day? So, yeah, isn't that interesting how things can shape us? Nobody ever told me, oh no, you need to have an emergency fund. You need to have X amount of monies, you know, just in case anything happens. Nobody ever taught me that. Nobody taught me how to budget. You know, I've learned how to do those things, but it's kind of been an uphill battle as an adult. Anyway, whole other thing. I've had my own challenges, as we all do. And I think all financial challenges all stem from psychological challenges anyway. They do. I mean, you know, you can't separate one from the other. So, and something that I discovered about myself recently, and I apologize if this is oversharing, but when you have certain experiences in life and it leaves you with trauma, one of the symptoms of trauma is not being able to plan for the long-term future. Just literally, you can't. You think you can, but your mind just can't conceive of it, and it won't let you. Basically, it will undermine any attempt that you make to plan for the long-term future. You can't do it. You know, if you try to lay out like a 5-year plan, you will not be able to follow it. You'll just kind of fall into a panic. And everything will go out the window, and you'll come up with all of these logical, supposed quote-unquote logical reasons why you can't do it, and I have to do this instead, and that won't work, and it's a waste of time, and you know. And that's something that's affected me my whole life until very recently, and only now am I able to do like some modicum of long-term planning, because I've done that shadow work. I've done that healing work on myself in counselling. It's taken me a long time to get to this point. Just seen 4141 on the clock, which is the individual leading the physical world, and that's what I'm doing. I am leading my physical world, so I must learn things that I didn't learn, that I thought I did learn. So this is a part of it here. It's learning things that we thought we knew, but actually we didn't. I thought I knew what a rainy day was in that context of save your money for a rainy day. I was like, what, when I'm bored? What's the point in that? I want to spend it now. I want that Pikachu toy. Relearning things that we thought we understood that actually we didn't get at all. We didn't understand at all. We had a very warped version of what it actually meant. Okay, so there's healing work to be done here to become whole. There's shadow work to be done here to become whole, to have true clarity, because if half the things we believe are untrue, how can we possibly be successful? We'll make a plan, but it won't work because a lot of our assumptions will be incorrect. Our logic will be flawed, and it just won't work. And that which we desire will always seem out of reach. Okay. So that was quite a deep message, and that could have been very specific just for part of my audience here. And always remember that my readings are general readings, they're group readings, so only take the messages that apply to you. You know, it could be something that applies to somebody else in your life that you need to pass along to them, because that can always be helpful too. But there are lots of things that I've learned in like the last 3-4 years that I realise I never knew. I feel like I really should have known them, but nobody taught them to me, or I was taught things that were the exact opposite for various reasons. And it's not about blame, but it is about understanding what the truth is, finding truth and wholeness, and finding parts of the soul that have broken off and had to be hidden and shoved away, feelings that you've had to shove down, aspects of self that you've had to hide and deny. Becoming whole is very much the key here to actually have what we want. Because until we're whole, we can't have that clarity. We can't see clearly. Okay. Feel like I need a moment. Okay, let's take some final cards just for the reading for everybody. Let's get some messages. Which deck are we going to use? Let me have a little think. It's this deck. It's Eugénie's amazing deck, which I always want to call FU, I'm fabulous. That's not what it stands for, but I really want it to stand for that. I mean, the actual name is almost as good, which is follow your iconic FU, but you know. So, lovely Eugénie. And you can only get these cards from her website, which is technicolorpriestess.com, if I'm correct. And you can, you find her on Instagram, Eugenie Schultz. The way her name is spelled is a little bit unusual, so I'm just going to put it there so you can hopefully see it if you'd like to follow her. It's spelled Ione, like EYENIE .Schultz. So she's amazing. Anyway, so I do always like to give her a shout out when I use her cards, because I do like to use cards from, like, you know, smaller producers, from people I know who are amazing, who do incredible work. They create their own cards, and I really like to promote them because they're really good. You know, you don't always have to go to Hay House, you know. Who needs Hay House? Right. Let's get some advice. Don't let your brain tell you what you're supposed to do. Oof. Push past it and get to truth. What did we just say? What have I just been rambling on about for the past 20 minutes? And by this, what she's talking about here with your brain, it's your lower self, the what you might call the ego mind, the monkey mind, the programmed mind that thinks it knows what the truth is and what you're supposed to do, what you were taught in your conditioning, in society, in your family, your country, your religion, or what you're supposed to do. But what is your truth? What is actual truth? Okay, because objective truth may be completely subjective. We're getting in touch with our truth now. Stop pretending you don't know the answer. We do that though, don't we? Go for it. Stop pretending you don't know the answer and go for it. And if you say, but Helen, I don't know the answer, to which I will answer, but what if you did? What would it look like then? And go from there. Play a little trick on your ego mind when it tries to hold you back. Your brain is not you. Oh, there's a lot to do with the brain, the lower mind here, the ego mind. Very interesting. Your brain is not you. What do you know to be truth? This is all about your truth. Isn't that interesting? Because a lot of these cards have nothing to do with that. But this is very much about what is your truth? Rather than the things you were taught were the truth or told you had to do, were supposed to do, were supposed to feel, were supposed to like, were supposed to dislike. What was supposed to work? Oh, well, if you do this, then that will happen. But that didn't happen for me. That didn't work for me. Go to school, get good grades, work hard at your job, you'll get promoted, and then you'll have lots of money and you can buy a house. It didn't happen for me. I worked very hard. Didn't get me anywhere. I worked very hard in my job. I didn't really get any promotions that led anywhere. I had to make some big changes to force that to happen, but it wasn't until I was older, until I'd done a lot of healing work, that I could see them. I could see where I needed to make changes that would actually work. Because we're lied to. Going to school, getting good grades is not what gets you rich. It doesn't make you rich. Understanding the game, understanding the system, understanding your motivations, your desires, and understanding the world around you will. Following your intuition will, not following your brain. Okay. So that's our message for this week. Find your truth. What is it? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you looking after self, or are you doing what you think you're supposed to do, which is push, push, push? So I'm going to leave that with you. And I'm going to go heat my tea up again because it's gone cold now in my Bedford. Look at him. So handsome. So Bedford sends his love. I send mine too. And we're going to finish. It looks almost like we're going to finish on the timestamp 4848, which is completion of karmic contract. Woohoo! We can leave all that crap behind us now. So love you guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you soon. Remember to enter the crystal competition if you haven't already. I'll see you very soon. Closes 14th of February 2025.